Almost as if on cue, we now have another reported incident of racial abuse and criminal injury taking place in South Africa. And this time, the African transformation movement has called for the criminalization of racism after viral video of a white couple allegedly calling two black women baboons at a food lovers market shop in Four Ways, the new trendy place to be in Joburg. This occurred over the weekend. Now, interesting thing about this is that the concept of criminalizing racism is beyond moronic. You can't criminalize racism. That's criminalizing people's thoughts. Do we have thought control? That's idiotic.
I'm placing you under arrest for the future murder of Sarah Marks and Donald Dubin.
They've already criminalized speech, and I think that's what the ATM means to say. But criminal injury is already a means to deal with speech. Speech is not free in South Africa. So two black women and a white couple involved in this. Now, the black women accused the couple of making racist remarks, with one of the women stating that there were 6 witnesses outside the shop who heard the couple's derogatory comments.
Don't touch me. You don't ever fucking call us baboons. You don't fucking call us baboons ever. Bloody shame on you. Bloody shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. As always you are. You should have thought about it first. Think before you act. Think before you fucking act. Who's a baboon? Who's a baboon? Who's the yes you are? Fuck you.
This is where the fake news comes into play here. The Times Live says that the white woman admitted to being a racist, saying, yes, I'm a racist. Well, that is beyond disingenuous and simply bogus reporting. It's fake news. Watch the video, and you'll see her say this in a rather sarcastic manner because she's frustrated at this woman accosting her going in the store.
You guys are racist. You're racist. Yes, I'm racist. Sure, let me go ahead and let the world know.
Now, what I will say about this is we don't have the context. We don't have the full impact here. We don't have all the information. Contrast this with what happened on the Fly South Air flight with Nobs Mkhize, and it's pretty clear we had the context there, what was going on. In this case, what I do see here is a very angry woman who's upset about what she says she was called. When she's called that, fair enough. Then she has a right to be upset. But rather than de-escalate the situation and simply make her point, she harasses the man and follows him around and chases him out of the store, verbally accosting him. That's not helpful. That doesn't diminish, doesn't reduce the tension. It simply ups the ante here. Security folks intervene and separate the folks. Now, ATM spokesperson Zama Nchonda condemned the incident based on these videos, emphasized the need for legal action against people making racial slurs. Now, that's interesting. And I get where Zama Nchonda is coming from. But strange enough, the ATM has had nothing to say about the racially motivated, well, we believe, we don't have the answer yet, the racially motivated attempted murder on Mark Hanscom at the Hanscom Resort in Orkney in Northwest Province, which occurred on December 16th, 15 days ago. They've said nothing. They've also had nothing to say about Christopher Logan and his fake race hustling, which nearly destroyed Hank's old Irish pub. Nothing from the ATM. Also, there's nothing from the ATM condemning the racially tinged insults of Nobs Mkhize against colored flight attendants on that Fly South Air flight. So why is it the ATM is suddenly concerned about a racist incident? And why does it suddenly magically appear when all the media is focused on Nobs Mkhize and her truly reprehensible behavior? Coincidence? Genuine incident? Well, there's a very real possibility it is genuine, and I'm not going to discount this woman's credibility. What I am going to say is that her conduct did not help the situation. Now, the ATM spokesman Nchonda said the entitlement displayed by individuals who believe they can demean others based on the color of their skin must be met with accountability and legal repercussions. Except that anger, that outrage was not present in the Mkhize or the Hanscom incident. Not at all. When the victims of the racism were white, nearly murdered, and colored on a flight, there's nothing from the African transformation movement. Only when someone black feels aggrieved. Also, we have no evidence from the video here that they're reaching these conclusions that anything happened other than this angry woman is yelling at these two white people, and the lady in exasperation says, yes, I'm a racist. Yeah, that's it. We don't have evidence to the contrary. Now, has the ATM gone and interviewed these people? Do they have other video evidence that hasn't been presented yet? That very well will be the case. But the point here is that interesting that They only care about one side of the spectrum. They say, we are alarmed by the resurgence of white supremacy and the entitlement that fuels such dehumanizing rhetoric. What white supremacy? The person's being accosted in the video that's presented to us as the evidence of this incident is the black woman behaving in a reprehensible manner. Allowing such hatred to persist is tantamount to reviving the regime of apartheid that sought to divide and devalue the lives of South Africans, black South Africans. That's utter nonsense. Utter nonsense. Allowing such thought, such hatred to persist. Enough is enough. Yeah, exactly. They say enough is enough. We cannot allow the actions of a few to regress our nation back to the dark days of segregation and oppression. Well, someone insulting someone with a racial slur at a grocery store is not going to regress South Africa back to the dark days of apartheid. What does that is race hustling like this. If the African transformation movement had made statements about the Mkhize and the Hanscom incident, then it would have been consistent. I've talked about those incidents, the demonization of coloreds and near murder of a white. And I'm talking about here the potential situation where black folks feel aggrieved because they've been called something that they find offensive. Of course, there's no evidence presented here. Now, piling on once again, and I'm consistent in this, is the Patriotic Alliance Deputy Leader Kenny Kunene denounced the incident, pledging to report the matter to the South African Captured Human Rights Commission. Why? That's not your job. That's not your role. I said the same thing in the Mkhize situation on the Fly South Air flight. Patriotic Alliance has no standing. They also have no standing in the case in Orkney. Kanani said this incident highlights the urgent need to address racism wherever it appears, particularly in public spaces where all South Africans should feel safe and respected. Such behavior not only undermines our shared values of equality and dignity, but also perpetuates the deep wounds of our nation's past. To be fair, the Patriotic Alliance also came out against Nobs Mkhize on the flight, but they've been completely silent about the near murder, an attempted murder by a gang of black thugs on December 16th in Orkney. Silent. So the Patriotic Alliance is not consistent. They defended coloreds being insulted with racist comments, but not whites. The ATM has defended blacks being insulted purportedly with racial comments, but not coloreds or whites. I am defending all South Africans. And for you hate wankers that like to watch 2 seconds of video and play your nonsense and accuse me of hating people, you know what you're talking about. This, once again, is me being consistent about the dignity of all people, and also consistent about the lunacy of trying to regulate thought and speech. That's not the role of government. What say you, South Africa? Happy New Year.